Guys, we're back with the last part of the mobility series. Okay, so I've been working out in between videos here, but anyway, I'm going to show you the last part. This involves isometric contraction to get you to override your stretch reflex. Okay, so now I think this guy named Dr. Andrea Spina has come up with an idea called pails and rails. Or maybe it's been around for a while. I believe it's been around for a while, the whole contract relax method, but he's using it in a different fashion. So PAILS stands for progressive angular isometric loading, and RAILS stands for regressive angular isometric loading. Okay, the idea is that if you apply an isometric contraction or a neural drive or an engagement at your end ranges of movement, you can override your stretch reflex and go a little further in your desired range of motion. So I'm going to show you two variations of the PAILS rails for your hips. Okay, it's something we all need because we're sitting all day on our chairs. So how do we start this off? We want to get into a 90-90 position, 90 degrees in the front and 90 degrees in the back, more or less. Okay. Once you get here, immediately get your pelvic floor on. So draw up your Kegel, butthole up to your stomach, nice and tight. Hands on either side of your foot. Keep drawing in that Kegel, and you're going to start to squeeze your right butt cheek here. Squeeze your left butt cheek as well. You're going to start feeling these stretchy sensations. You probably feel like a stretch sensation here. That's because it's a reciprocal inhibition. When you try to squeeze your butt here, you reciprocally inhibit the muscles in the front, hence that stretch sensation. When you squeeze your glute in the front, you're going to feel a reciprocal inhibition of the inner groin. Okay, so we're getting the best bang for our buck here, turning off our hip flexors, turning off our inner groin, engaging our external rotators. Okay, so we're here squeezing, 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 both glutes, shoving this knee to the ground, shoving this knee to the ground as hard as possible. We're going to begin to breathe. Chest is more or less upright. About 15 seconds here. After 15 seconds are up, what you're basically going to do is just take your hands forward, but chest is still up. And over here now, we're going to start playing with our range of motion. I want you to start flexing your knee up, okay? Still engaging the back loop, flexing your knee up for about 15 seconds. Breathe. After you're done, actively engage again into the ground. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for about 15 seconds and slowly walk forward. Do the same thing. Lift, 15 seconds, engage, 15 seconds, go a little further, lift, engage, 15 seconds, and you keep going even towards your last part of your range of movement. You keep going, trying to create more range. Challenge yourself, see how far you can get, okay? When you get done, come on up. Now let's work this leg. This is a little more challenging in a way. We're gonna start by bringing this foot out a little bit. Hopefully you can see this. And then from here, seem to have got cut off there, but the last piece of this is working your back leg. So I'm showing you my right leg, but you would just work your back leg whenever you have your right leg forward. So that would be your left leg in that instance. So basically I'm gonna work my right leg here just for the sake of evening out both my sides. And what I'm gonna do here is make sure this foot's slightly out to the side. I'm gonna actively engage this glute. Kegel's always on, right? I'm gonna slowly lift this knee off the ground. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Once I find a restriction point, which might be right here, I'm going to push my hand down actively for about 15 seconds. Then I'm going to squeeze my glute and go a little further. I'm going to keep turning and squaring up this way. And then if I reach a restriction point, I'm going to push down 15 seconds. Then squeeze my butt, override that stretch reflex, engage for 15 seconds, and repeat the same thing over and over until I really challenge my range of motion. But those are two simple things you can do, both the active fold over, both going in the flex position and the active engage position, and the knee behind you, challenging that range of motion all the way, both actively pushing down to override the stretch reflex and squeezing your butt to get a little more range of motion. Try this out as well. Do it as much as you can. That's my advice to you. Do it as much as you can. You'll find that everything becomes easier. Everything is more engaged. You're not just loosey-goosey, you're actually very active throughout the entire range of motion. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Peace!